How are you, everyone? I'm teacher Peter Wanjala Namasaka, and I wish to take this opportunity to welcome you for our English lesson, whereby we are going to discuss about prepositions. But before I do that, I wish to remind you on the very important practices you are supposed to consider in order to ensure that you assist in curbing the spread of this deadly virus that is corona. That one, remain at home. And if you are forced by circumstances to leave your home, then always put on your mask and maintain social distance. Something else you are supposed to do, wash your hands regularly with soap and water. Something else is that maintain the social distance. If you feel like coughing or sneezing, then use your toilet paper, put it somewhere here, cough or sneeze there, and immediately dispose it to the rightful place, a safe place that cannot pose a health hazard. If you don't have a toilet paper, then you can always fold your arm like that, cough or sneeze there, and all will be well. Above all, let us continue praying to God, because I believe that through prayers, God will give us a breakthrough in this. Having said that, I now wish to take this opportunity to go to the topic of the day. This is prepositions. Now, when you talk about prepositions, this is a word used to show the relationship between a noun or pronoun and other words in a sentence. It is used to show position, direction, or time. Now, let me give examples of sentences to show prepositions. Mother is sitting on a kitchen stool. Mother is sitting on a kitchen stool. She is walking to her room. She is walking to her room. I do my homework at night. So in the three sentences I've given, the words on, to, and at are called prepositions. Now, the preposition include in, into, of, by, up, for, of, until, into, over, till, past, down, under, above, near, below, since, after, among, with, besides, beside, along, around, behind, against, towards, between, through, despite, across, from, beyond, upon. These are examples of just a few prepositions. Now, allow me to talk about confusing prepositions. And these ones are prepositions that bring a challenge to our pupils. Using prepositions beside and besides. Beside and besides. Now, let me give an example in a sentence form. Father can speak English very well besides Germany. Father can speak English very well besides Germany. The dead elephant lay beside a pool of blood. The dead elephant lay beside a pool of blood. Now, beside is used to show position, while besides is used to show addition. Now, allow me to talk about using preposition among and between. And let me give an example in a sentence form. Keith and Baraza divided books between themselves. Keith and Baraza divided books between themselves. Now, another example. The community divided the land among themselves. Now, when you look at the two sentences, you will realize that between is used to show that something is shared but involving two people or two things, while among is used to show that something is shared but involves more than two people or two things. Now allow me to talk about using prepositions on and upon. On is used to show position. Upon, however, is used to show motion. Let me give examples in sentence form. The patient sat on the bench. The patient sat on the bench. Another example of a sentence. The leopard sprang upon the gazelle. The leopard sprang upon the gazelle. Now, when we look at these two sentences, I've said on is used to show position, while upon is used to show the motion, that is the movement. Now, my dear pupils, allow me to talk about using prepositions by and with. We use with when we speak of things, but we use by when we speak of people or animals. For example, by presents the doer, the person doing an action. For example, in a sentence form, mother was cutting vegetables with a knife, which means the thing that was used to perform the action of cutting. The house was built by the mason. So by here is used to present the doer, the person performing the action. Now, my dear pupils, allow me to talk about using prepositions till or until and since. Now, they are both used to show time. The preposition till, until, and since, they are used to tell time. They show time. Till and until is used to show up to a certain time, while since means from a certain time in the past to the time of speaking. For example, I stayed up until 11 working. I stayed up until 11 working. Another example in a sentence form, I have been working since 11. So in the two sentences, you will realize that till and until is used to show up to a certain time, while since means from a certain time in the past up to the time of speaking. In some cases, over can be used to show position. For example, Mrs. Wakio hung her coat over the hook. Mrs. Wakio hung her coat over the hook. And this is why I'm saying in some cases over can be also used to show position. Now, allow me, my dear pupils, to talk about these two prepositions, below and under. And I want to give examples in a sentence form. In boxing, it is an offense to hit your opponent below the belt. In boxing, it is an offense to hit your opponent below the belt. Another sentence, the ball is under the table. Now, in the first sentence, below is used to show position. Whereas in the second sentence, that is the ball is under the table, under is used to show the level. Allow me also to talk about the use of preposition in and at. In and at with places. In and at with places. We use preposition at with the small places, but in with big places, like towns, cities, countries, etc. For example, the people gathered at Uhuru Park. The people gathered at Uhuru Park. Another sentence, there is so many beach hotels in Mombasa. There are so many beach hotels in Mombasa. So that's why I'm saying that in We use preposition at with the small places, but in when we are talking about big places. Now allow me to talk about the use of preposition in, to, and into. To is used to show the direction towards. To is used to show the direction towards. In is used to show position, that is an enclosed place or condition of something or somebody, while into is used to show entrance with a verb of motion like came. Now, my dear pupils, allow me to talk about the use of preposition in, on, at with the verb sit. For example, in a sentence form, Sofa was sitting at the table just a moment ago. Sofa was sitting at the table just a moment ago. Another example, every guest sat on his seat. Every guest sat on his seat. Another sentence, grandfather was sitting in his old armchair reading a newspaper. Another example, Mr. Isaiah was sitting at his desk when his business associates walked in. We sit at a table, at a desk, on a chair or sofa, and in an armchair. So you must consider that we sit at a table, at a desk, on a chair, or on a sofa, and in an armchair. Now allow me to talk about the use of preposition in and on with bed. The sick man lay in bed. The sick man lay in bed. The baby sounds asleep on the bed. Now the prepositions are used to show position, but we use in bed to show that one is covered. We use in bed to show that one is covered. And on a bed to show that one is not covered. Now, allow me to talk about the use of preposition in, on with the time. For example, we shall get at the airport in time. We shall get at the airport in time. Another example in a sentence form, the plane left the airport on time. The plane left the airport on time. The prepositions are used to show time. In is used to show that one is not late, but within time. That is before the time appointed. On is used to show that one is not too late or too early. That is, the person is punctual. My dear pupils, now allow me to talk about the use of preposition in, on, and by. We use preposition on with the following: a bus, a plane, a coach, a bike or a motorbike, a train, a ship, horseback, and foot. But we use preposition in with a car and a matatu. The preposition by is used to show how or through. We travel, for example, by car, by bus, by boat, or by air, land, or sea. My dear pupils, allow me now to talk about using preposition on with the radio, plane, and etc. The rugby match was broadcast live on television. The rugby match was broadcast live on television. He is on the phone. Wait a second. He is on the phone. Wait a second. We say, we can say over, through the phone when we refer to the system of communication. For example, she received the information over or through the phone. She received the information over or through the phone. Now, those are the prepositions. My dear pupils, allow me now to talk about the compound prepositions, the compound prepositions. Now, when we talk about the compound prepositions consist of 2 or 3 words, such as out of, up to, in respect to, by the, as regards, with regards to, because of, in front of, in addition to, in spite of, instead of, on account of, prior to, by means of, and etc. So those are what we call compound prepositions. Now, my dear pupils, allow me now to talk about some words that are used with prepositions. These are certain words that these are certain words followed by certain prepositions in a fixed way. Afraid of, agree with, that is if it is somebody, agree to if it is something, aim at, angry at if it is something, angry with if it is somebody, anxious about, apply to if it is somebody or something, apply for if it is something, arrive at, that is at a small place, arrive in if it is a big place, ashamed of, aware of, bad at if it is something, bad for if it is somebody or something, differ from if it is something, differ with if it is somebody, difficulty in, disappointed with if it is somebody, disappointed in if it is something, disgusted at if it is something, disgusted with if it is somebody, dressed in, engaged to, escape from, exchange with, equal to, fail in if it is something, fail to, that is to do something, faithful to, famous for, feed on, feel for, fight against if it is somebody or something, fight for if it is something or that is if it is something, fit for, fitted with, fond of, free from, we can also say free of or free from, full of, flee from, glance at, glance over, be aware of, blame for, bound for by, busy with, certain of, charged with, change for if it is something, change with if it is somebody, close to, compare with or compare in, cured of, deal with, delighted with, depend on, died of, middle with or middle in, obedient to, opposite to, part from if it is somebody, part with if it is something, pleased to, that is do something, popular with, pay for, pleased with or somebody, that is pleased with somebody or something, prepare for, prevent from, pride in, proud of, profit by, profit with, punish for, quarrel with, quick at, reply to, retire from, revenge on, recover from, reduce to, relate to, reminded of, suitable for, supply with, sure of, save from, satisfied with, shocked at, glance at, gaze at, good for, grateful to, greedy for, guilty of, hide from, hope for, ill with, in need of, interested in, introduced to, invited to, indignant at if it is something, indignant with if it is somebody, jealousy of, keen on, known for, shown to, laugh at, liking for, listen to, look at if it is something or somebody, look into if it is something, married to, yield to, similar to, short of, sick of, sick with, smell of, smile at, sorry for, stared at, suffer from, surprised at, tired of if it is something, tired with if it is an action, thirsty for or after, used to, vote for, vote against, vexed over if it is some, vexed at if it is something, vexed with if it's somebody, wait for somebody or something, wait upon if it is a somebody, wish for, worried about, worried over, worthy for, and etc. These words are used by, they are used followed by prepositions. So be sure that these questions do come in an English paper concerning the broken passage. So can you go through, and even the use of grammar, you can meet prepositions. So you can replay this video as many times as you can so that you get acquainted to the issue about prepositions. I want to wish you all the best. That is the end of our lesson. Goodbye.